Hey everybody, welcome to the Ronline Report. You know this guy. I think this is the third time we've interviewed. Is that right, Derek?
At least a third time, but it's always a pleasure coming on your show, and I appreciate you having me.
This is Derek Lunsford. As you should know by now, Derek just took second place in the 212 Mr. Olympia. I said it, Mr. I guess it's the 212 Olympia, though, technically, right?
I say 212 Olympia. 212.
Okay. I think
just to be safe.
I think that's what the technical name for it is. So,
yeah.
You have an open invitation to ever be on the show anytime you want. It's
Yeah, I just hit you up this morning.
Yeah, I mean,
I appreciate it. I was like, man, if you want to do an interview, if you like that, and you're like, dude, come on today. I was like, okay.
See how easy it is, people? Just be accessible. Just be accessible.
Seriously, I think more athletes need to do more interviews like this. This is what's going to keep bodybuilding thriving, and like your own personal PR, public recognition. You need to get out there and be involved.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, because obviously it's all about YouTube and Twitter, and I think YouTube's like killing it right now, pretty much.
I mean, even as an amateur, that's how I started getting known more. Was muscular development has always been good to me, even when I was an amateur. Bringing me on, writing articles about me and stuff like that. But at the same time, I had to put myself out there too, to be available. Right. So amateurs in the NPC or IFBB Pro bodybuilders need to be doing more.
Yeah, I mean, I'm always down to have you on. I mean, eventually you'll be like. I think Alec Baldwin has hosted Saturday Night Live 7 times. I think you might eventually break that record for running. Yeah, you're always
That's awesome.
I'm going to jump way ahead because I've been wanting to know this since the night of the finals.
Yeah.
When Flex Lewis was announced as the winner of the 212, before he went center stage, before you guys went from the side over to the front, you guys huddled for a minute, and he was saying some things to you in your ear. I'm like, what is he saying? What is he saying? It's probably something like, "Kid, you're going to be great. You're going to be the future." But what was
that?
Flex
Wasn't even close to his accent, by the way.
that was close, or it wasn't?
I don't know, man. I'll let everybody else be the judge of that.
So what was he saying?
Well, he said enjoy the moment. He said some other things that were very personal and stuff like that. Okay. And so I'd like to keep it to myself because it's special to me. But essentially he said enjoy the moment. This is your moment, and yeah, I don't know. That's about as far as I'll go with that. I'll leave it as is.
Flex is right now lying on a beach in Jamaica.
I know. I was just messaging him, and he was messaging me back, and I'm like, and finally I found out he's like, yeah, dude, I'm in Jamaica. I go, what are you doing messaging me? I was like, get off your phone and enjoy your time.
I've been accused of, when I try to imitate Flex, I make him sound Jamaican.
Yeah.
So now I'm wondering if the people down there think he's a native.
Actually, I was watching your Nathan Diasha interview, and you did a pretty good job with his.
Yeah, man. The Chick-fil-A.
Chick-fil-A. Dude, whenever I heard him say he ate Chick-fil-A that much, I was like, man, maybe I needed to load on that because I was a little flat on Friday.
He saw a video where Brian Shaw went to Chick-fil-A. And
yeah.
Did you watch it? I didn't watch it, but
no, I watched the interview, but I heard about the Brian Shaw.
14,000 calories, which, for Brian Shaw, that's probably nothing special, I'm thinking.
I don't know, man. I can put down some food myself after the show.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've seen my post on Instagram going to Hash House a Go-Go that next morning.
No.
Dude, that place is delicious. If you like good brunch food, go to Hash House a Go-Go.
That's in Vegas?
Yeah.
Hash House a Go-Go. Where is that inside a casino?
There's a bunch of different places, but try them all out. They're good. It's
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was wondering what you ate after that show.
I had that, and I had all-you-can-eat sushi twice because I love sushi and it's delicious. Otherwise, I've actually kept it really clean, and I'm actually this morning. I thought I've actually put on a little bit of weight, but I was 215, and then I did my cardio. I was 213.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah, and I was like, man, I need to start eating some more.
How many 212 shows are left over the next couple of weeks?
There's a handful left. I know that the Cali's next weekend, along with, I believe, Prague has a 212. this coming weekend. But to be honest with you, I'm just keeping it tight for this guest pose I have in Wisconsin on the 20th.
Okay. And
then October 13th in Louisville is an event I'm doing for a friend for Blueprint Subs store.
Oh, yeah. I saw the flyer.
Yeah, so those 2 events I'm trying to keep it tight for, and then, we'll transition to off-season.
Did you contemplate doing any of these post-Olympia shows?
Yeah, I thought about doing the Korea show, but then, to be honest with you, like after the weekend at the Olympia, me placing second, being the front runner to next year, and I just want to spend some time with friends and family and things like that, because it sounds like I'm not doing my job, as a bodybuilder to go and do these shows and do stuff. But to be honest with you, my brother-in-law had a wedding, and I think to me that's more important than anything. Yeah. And I think I think people will respect me more for skipping the show and going to my brother-in-law's wedding than had I, went to the show and skipped out on that, because for me that's more important. And also, my obligations with Animal, I was able to squeeze in some photo shoots and videos during the week. So I'm staying active, and that's what I've been doing, is I'm trying to reach out to other promoters and any events and promoters, or any events and any shows I can do to guest pose or guest appearance, like reach out to me. If I haven't reached out to you, reach out to me, because I'm the type of athlete that is ambitious and driven and wants to be out there. I don't care if it's in the States or across seas. I want to be out there literally every week of the year, given a couple weeks here and there to spend time with friends and family. Otherwise, I'm driven to be out and be an ambassador for this sport.
Now, this wedding, that was your girl's brother?
That's correct, yeah. My girlfriend's brother.
Did you get married? Did you not tell anybody?
No, it's my brother-in-law. We've been together for 8 years.
Future brother-in-law, okay.
Yeah, future brother-in-law. But
broke some news here that you secretly got married or something. Okay.
Maybe in the near future, we'll see.
Okay. The only reason I wanted to see you in Korea was because of Hadi.
That has no effect on me. No athlete has an effect on me. Hadi looked great. Don't get me wrong. I mean, he was fantastic, and we would have battled. But it's my job to be at shows. It's my job to be at events and things like that. So I'm not trying to skip out. But at the same time, when your brother-in-law is getting married, that's a one-time deal, and I would have felt terrible not going to that. So I chose to do that, and then in turn, like I said, I did other things for Animal, and then I've scheduled guest posings, and I've done different things. I'm doing this interview now. Yeah. I'm doing the most I possibly can, like reaching out, putting myself out there. So like I said, if anybody's out there and needs a guest poser or someone at an event, reach out to me. You can email me at dereklunsford7@gmail.com or hit me up on Instagram, because like I said, I want to be doing things,
Mr. USA 2017 on Instagram.
Still is, until we earn the title. Until we earn the title, then it'll change.
Second place 212 Olympia. No, it doesn't have the same ring. I agree.
Not really. It'll either go back to Derek Lunsford or it'll stay there where it's at.
Right on. Okay, so let's talk a little bit. You prepped this year in Tampa. I mean, how long? Yeah. When did you move to Tampa? How long ago was it?
Okay, so I went to Body Power back in May, and after I moved in the week before Body Power, and so that really didn't count. And then I went to the UK, came back, and that's whenever I started my Olympia prep, essentially. Down there in Tampa.
So you did the full prep in Tampa this year?
Yep. And I'm back in Indiana right now, like pretty much through the end of October. But once that's done, I'm traveling a lot and doing different things, demos and events and whatnot, guest pose. But once I go back to Tampa, yes, I'll be traveling still, and I'll be coming back to Indiana here and there. But I want to lock it down. That's where I'm going to be living. It's a permanent move. Yeah.
So are you staying in your old room with the Star Wars posters on the walls?
No. No. My girlfriend moved. My girlfriend's going to grad school back here in Indiana, and she moved in with some of her friends. So I'm just crashing there at the family's right now.
It would have been funny, but so how was it different prepping? That was the first. You prepped for all your other shows in Indiana, I'm assuming, right?
Right.
How was it different prepping, a few states away in a totally different environment this time?
You know what, man? Me and my girl were so driven in what we're trying to do. Like, she's going to grad school. I'm, trying to become Mr. Olympia 212 Olympia champ. That like I told you last time, we're so supportive of one another, but we're so driven for ourselves too. Like, and we're doing it for each other as well. So like, it actually made it, I think, a bit better that we wasn't, we were apart. I think being apart actually helped us grow as a couple, and ourselves too. Relying only on ourselves. I liked it, man. I liked going down there and training with Ben and Danny, and I definitely benefited tremendously by training with them. Look forward to it again next year. But yeah, Florida's home. Florida's home to me now.
So yeah, you've been training with Ben and Dan. That's his name. That's
Danny Vega. He's keto counterculture. He's a big keto guy.
Oh boy, he's not the hypertrophy coach guy. That's someone different.
No, that's Joe Bennett.
Okay. But yeah, you trained on your own. You never had a trainer before all this, right? So yeah, what's the difference been for you this year?
Look, I love my friends, and my friends were always the ones that would train with me. We developed a strong relationship through bodybuilding, but it was just us trying to figure things out. We would watch YouTube videos and get a good idea of how we wanted to train and go do the best we could. Like, it wasn't really anything like intelligent necessarily. I mean, we just, we did the best we could. We pushed hard what we thought, and once I went down to my 40, I learned what real training's like. Not saying that I didn't work hard, not saying that I didn't, I wasn't smart before, but this is on another level type of training. Like, I would train for 3 hours some days. I mean, and it was brutal. Like, it was every day. Ben and Danny pushed me past my perceived limitations. They literally, or Ben, I felt like wanted to break me mentally and physically every single day. But I mean, look at me now. Now that I'm back here in Indiana training, I'm training with my buddies, and they're like, "Holy shit! Like, this is on another level. Like, I've never seen you train like this." And I go, "I'm just having fun today." I'm just enjoying the workout. Like, I thought we weren't even going that crazy. They're like, "Dude, like, we've never trained like this before." And so, I mean, that just goes to show, like, if you day in, day out are, pushing past your perceived limitations, like, eventually you're going to become stronger, and it's just going to be who you are. So that's why I'm so thankful. And then at the same time, not just the hard work, but the methodical approach to the training of, challenging the muscle versus just worrying about how many reps you're getting or how much weight you're moving, but actually just focusing completely on challenging the muscle and stimulating and fatiguing the muscle. So that's the difference.
I mean, so most of the time that you were training with Ben, it was while you were in prep, correct?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, once I got back from Body Power, it was like 17 weeks out or something like that from, 18, 17 weeks out. So I usually like to start 20 to 24 weeks out. And, locking it down and just, slowly, shredding up to the show. So that was when we started training together. And, yeah, I mean, things started happening really quick, halfway through the prep, 8, 10 weeks out, you could see.
I mean, most people would say or believe that you can't make gains while you're dieting and getting leaner. But from all the pictures and videos I was seeing, you were definitely getting bigger as a year.
I was only improving both directions, getting stronger, getting, building muscle and getting shredded at the same time, but that's why it's important that you start early. If you're ultra fat, which I mean, if you just seen I don't know if you've seen the pictures that James posted on his Instagram, JB Prep, but he's posted the last couple of days of when I was fat in my off season, and honestly, you don't really see yourself like that. I thought I was still fairly lean, but looking back, I'm like, oh shoot, like, that was so if I would have started with that physique at 8 weeks out, 10 weeks out, that would have been just a crash diet, tons of cardio, no room for building muscle or anything. It's just get shredded is the goal. So starting out at like 16, 20, 24 weeks out, I mean, the longer you can start out and slowly progress into the show, the better off you are. I mean, it's longer, and it's, but it's worth it in the end.
So seeing those pictures that James posted, are you committed now to staying leaner year round? And especially because now you're going to be somewhere like every damn weekend now.
Right. I want to. Here's the thing. I want to be lean. That's why I'm doing more. I'm doing almost double cardio every day, fasted. I didn't even do a single fasted cardio session during prep. I'm doing more fasted. I'm doing an hour of fasted cardio right now and training every day, taking like 1 to 2 days off. And I actually feel amazing because I'm still on my diet. I'm not eating junk. I'm eating clean. I'm just maybe eating a little bit more. I'm just enjoying the lifestyle. But, yeah, I want to stay lean. Here's the thing. I'm going to be listening to James and what he tells me to do. If he says eat this, I'm going to eat whatever it is. And if he wants me to bulk up and, add a little fluff, then that's what I'm going to have to do. You know what I mean? So I just do what it takes for me to be my best as a competitive bodybuilder, and I don't question anything.
So to be clear, you have not fired James Brown, correct?
I thought about it because everybody was saying I was so flat and how he was a terrible coach. So it crossed my mind for a second. No, not at all. Not even crossed my mind.
I love that post. Time to fire your coach.
The thing is, man, like my loyalty is one of the biggest things to me, and you don't see that too often. You've seen it with someone like Flex Lewis, and it's pretty amazing. You see two people like work together their whole career. I would love to have that with James, and we talked about it. Was I a little flat on Friday? Yeah, sure. But what? We recognize that, and who knows my body better than James? No one. I don't even know my body as well as James does. If I literally sent him pictures right now, he'd been like, this is what you ate this week, right? This is the cardio you did this week, right? I'm like, man, you're good. Like, he knows my body inside and out. And so, like, why would I want to go and start over with someone new just because they're a hot name?
Because I'm sure you've seen all the comments and people. The phrase that always comes up that I kind of roll my eyes at is, I think Derek Lunsford might have outgrown his coach.
That's terrible, man.
That's insinuating that he doesn't know how to work with someone who's bigger than, a certain size or that is at a certain level of competition.
To me that says I'm too, like, I've outgrown my friends. I've outgrown my family. Like, that's really what it means to me. Like, for real. I mean, I guess, like if I felt like James didn't know what he was doing, then I probably would have left him a long time ago. But I trust in him, and I actually pray that God gives him the guidance, gives him the guidance to give me the proper guidance. So we're good, man. Like, we have a strong relationship, and I'm strong here, and I know that the more success that I have and the more I'm known and things like that in this bodybuilding industry, the more that the negative's going to come. I already accepted that, and all these comments. But at the same time, I focus on all the positive comments, and I'm getting way more of that than I am any of this negative stuff. It's just people like to look at that versus look at the positives. I look at the positives, I recognize the negatives, and I just, like, brush it off, man. It doesn't even faze me.
Oh, yeah. No, you got a great attitude. Great attitude. So the prep, I want to know, were there any special challenges, anything come up? Like, we just found out Bumstead had this horrific medical issue that he didn't tell anybody about.
Really? I didn't know about that. What was it?
Go to his YouTube channel, Chris Bumstead. 4 weeks out. He was in the hospital for 3 days with this. Turns out he has some rare kidney disease. It has nothing to do with being a bodybuilder.
Man.
And that's why he was holding water. He put up a video at like 4 weeks out where he could stick his finger in various points in his leg, and the dimple would stay there for like a good minute before it would fill back out. That's how much water. That's how much water.
I hate hearing that kind of stuff, man. Just in general, like, good people having things like that, but like especially these athletes, like pro athletes in any sport, like you dedicated your life to this, and now you found, like, you're at the top level and you find out something like that. It bothers me. So, and especially someone like Chris, like, he's such a great guy, hard worker. I mean, great, phenomenal bodybuilder, great ambassador for the sport. Right. Man, I didn't know that, but no, nothing came up. Thank God. Last year I pulled my, or I strained my hamstring, and so that was at the beginning of prep, but it ended up healing and getting better. This year I had no injuries or anything. Thank God. I felt terrible because I was shredded. But
Yeah.
that's expected. Other than that, it was actually. I grew a lot, man. I grew a lot here, this prep, and that was a huge goal of mine. I said that in the beginning, was this prep is more about me growing as a person than it is me growing as a bodybuilder. And without a doubt, I know I've grown as a person more than anything, and I'm very, very thankful for that. In fact, actually, this is crazy to me, but I don't think there was a single time that I did my cardio that I wasn't smiling the whole time.
Wow.
Yeah, it just like the first couple minutes, I was just like, oh man, this cardio. And 2 minutes in, I had a big smile on my face the whole time. And at the end, I would always raise my hand, tell myself I'm number one. I don't know. That was one thing that Ben and Danny drove home to me, was like being positive and having a positive mind and just smiling and just breathing, calmly. And, man, that goes so far. It really does. In the past, I've dreaded my cardio. Nobody really likes cardio in their prep, let's be honest. But it was just crazy how I didn't even try. And the next thing you know, I have a smile on my face. I'm like, where did that come from? Why am I smiling? I'm like doing cardio.
Do you smile when you do fasted cardio, though?
Man, I've been liking my fast. I feel good when I do fasted cardio, but only when I have nutrients. When I'm depleted, man, yeah, I'm like, bah.
Yeah, fasted cardio is the worst.
But yeah, it's I don't know. That's the biggest difference, man. It's just my attitude and the self-development that I've been able to grow this year. I'm very proud of it, and I'm not that it matters to anyone else, but I became a stronger person this year for sure.
Right. So what was it like arriving in Vegas this year, probably on Sunday or Monday that week?
Actually, Tuesday. I might end up backing it up to Sunday or Monday next year, though.
This time it was a very different situation for you. Last time you came in with just one pro show, even though it was a win, but, you were still a raw novice. You're still
Right.
are. You really have only done a couple of shows. But, you're in a different situation coming into the show this year as someone who was in the top 5 last year, as opposed to someone who's never been to the Olympia, has only done one pro show, and there were really no expectations on you at all last year. I mean,
right.
Anywhere you placed would have been great, basically, except
right.
other than last. If you did anything better than last, it's like, hey, I did it.
Exactly. So you're 100% right. Like, I had no expectations. I knew probably where I would land, 4th or 5th, most likely, unless everybody was off and I was just on, then maybe higher. But 4th or 5th is what I projected I would be at last year. Yeah. And, I placed 5th, and that was amazing to me. And I had no argument with that. I was extremely happy. But coming into the Olympia, I can't deny I was anxious. I didn't know what I was about to get myself into. I didn't know where anything was at, whether it was the check-ins and weigh-ins, the tanning. Matter of fact, I didn't even go to the tan. I did my own tan, which was a mistake. And I didn't know anything about backstage or whatever. I didn't know how anything was being ran or whatever. So that bothered me, just not being comfortable with the situation, like where everything was at and going on. Because there's a lot going on, being at the expo, being at the press conference, being at this place and that place. But this year I already knew how it was going to be ran, which is very smooth, by the way. Thank God last year, or I assume every year, it's ran very smooth. So I had no troubles this year. I felt very confident going in. I knew I had put in the work. And I believed wholeheartedly that it was going to come down to Flex Lewis and myself. And I believed that I was going to be the champion this year. However, you may ask this next. I don't know. I'll just go ahead and say it. However, you know what? He beat me on Friday and he beat me on Saturday. That is a fact. I can be subjective to myself and look at our physiques and say that Flex Lewis was the better man, and it doesn't bother me because I love competition and I love to see the best man win. And so if I thought that I should have won, I would tell you. But it's great to see a champ and a legend like him go out on top. Retiring with 7 titles. I'm proud of him. I'm proud of myself. Happy for both of us. Next year I've got to come in and make the improvements, which I intend to just be top dog, no questions asked. But with the improvements I made from last year, this year, I'm very happy with. Yeah. Still more room for improvement for sure, as I was also weighing 208, 207, 208. And next year is going to be a different story, I can tell you, for sure.
Now, they were weighing you guys in. When I got in Thursday morning, they were starting to weigh you guys in. So that gave you about 36 hours or so, roughly, to fill out?
Last we weighed in on Wednesday.
Okay.
Wednesday evening. And so I don't know why they changed it for Thursday, but the actual weigh-in I think works better for the 212 guys because you wake up and you can just go weigh pretty much, or if you need to make small adjustments early that morning. So early morning weigh-ins I think works best, really. It just gives less time to fill out. I did feel like we were loading pretty slow. I seen Bumstead, he was eating. I even said this to James. I said, man, did you see how much rice that dude was eating? Like, Chris? He's like, yeah, man. I was like, dude, he had like a whopping Tupperware full of rice.
Bucket.
And I'm over here eating like a half cup or a cup of rice. And I was like, dude, like, I feel like I need to be eating a little bit more. Like, I'm burning through this. Like, this is what I'm normally eating on a daily basis anyway this past week. And he's like, you're good. But like I said, I think he realized maybe we loaded a little slow. I don't know.
Would the extra day have helped, you think?
I mean, of course it will because, you'll have more time, but I can't say I don't mind the Thursday weigh-in because I like mornings for weigh-ins and photo shoots. Yeah. I don't like evenings for weigh-ins or photo shoots, personally.
So, would you and James load you with more carbs next time? Is that something you learned from this prep, from this Olympia?
I'm sorry, you cut out. What was it?
Okay, yeah. Would you load with more carbs next time?
I would say yes. Also, I think more carbs and more fats, actually. I think more carbs early on, maybe some extra sugars or something a little bit quicker, or like even just more rice. In my head, and this is James is the one I listen to. I don't even question him. He is beyond my thought process. Yeah. But in my head, I would say, probably add a little extra carbs in early on, and then a little bit more fat before I go on stage. I think that would have worked out a little bit better because that's what I did pretty much on Saturday, and I filled out much better. That's in my head what I would do.
So before we get to the show, what are your thoughts on that press conference all around?
Honestly, man, and I guess I could speak for several others. There were some things that were exciting, sure. I mean, the press conference is always great, but I think there was some things that was just like nonsense, like some bickering between two competitors, and like it was just silly stuff that was just like TMZ or just like, you know what I mean, or like Jerry Springer, like stupid stuff that none of us cared about.
It was cringy. It was cringy. I was like, oh yeah, no,
why are we talking about this right now? But that was just certain situations. Some things were awesome. I think it was awesome having Sergio up there talking, and I mean, I think a lot of the guys in the Open said some good things, and the 212 guys for sure. I wish I could have spoke a little bit more, and I suppose I probably could have, but I think it was just kind of winding down to the end. I was hoping that maybe like, Bob would, say something back to me and I could like talk a little bit, conversate, or even the 212 guys, we could conversate a little bit more. But it was kind of bouncing back and forth between different divisions after the Open, and it just kind of like, it didn't seem to flow.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so I just kind of said what I said, which came from the heart. You know, I said that, you know, this is a real story of how your idols become your rivals. You know, I looked up to these guys, and now I'm competing with them. And, you know, I expect the work that I've done to challenge all of them, and including Flex. Basically is what I said. But, you know, I'll mention the end part where.
Well, it was over. The press conference was completely over. People got up and they were walking out when suddenly.
Yeah. Another 212 competitor decides to grab a mic and start calling. I definitely me out, but I'm not sure if he was calling a couple people out or if it was just me. But it was definitely me, and I was just like, "What is this?" Another little just Jerry Springer moment, like that was just nonsense. And if you look at the video, like you've seen that, like Phil Heath and all the other guys, they just got up. They're just like, "We're done. Like this is stupid. Like this is another stupid moment. Like no need for that." And Bob was like, "Are you gonna get to your point here?" Like, and then they just shut the mic off because it was just nonsense. And for me, man, this person, man, I've talked to many times, and I told him, like, man, like you're not doing anything for anyone, even yourself. Yeah. You gotta, like, you need to start understanding that you're really hurting yourself, and you're not doing anything good for anyone else, man. Like, and he told me, like, man, I realized that, like, you know, I really hurt myself. I'm not doing anybody any good. Like, he gets it, but I don't know if I just hope that he does understand and does, like, start to do a positive thing, because this is a great opportunity to do a lot of good, you know, and that's not a good way of going about it, I'm telling you.
Now, did he also make a bet with James that he would beat you?
Yeah, so he tried to like get me to like do the bet or whatever. And for one, I don't do that kind of stuff. But James commented on that post and said, this is way back, said, "I'll take that bet, you know, like I'll do it." Yeah. And so he owned up to it and was like, "All right," you know, and they were going back and forth online about, you know, bring me the money, you know, I wonder what I'm going to spend the money on, this and that. And then it comes to it, and he didn't own up to the bet. So
how much money was it? I don't even remember the dollar amount.
It was at $1,000.
Oh, wow, okay.
So look, like, that's not me. Is absolutely. It was him against my physique, but not me betting. I don't do that. I don't even care. Yeah. That's between them. I don't even care that James got paid or didn't get paid. I do because he's my friend, and it's the right thing to do. If you do it, if you have a bet, you should own up to it. Yep. But honestly, I want to stay as far away from that kind of stuff as possible. It's nonsense, man. I'm here for my purpose, and that's to build positivity and, you know, motivate people, not to worry about that kind of garbage.
So let's talk about something more positive. Friday night judging, first call out. There you are. They shuffled you guys around. They put you right next to Flex Lewis.
Right.
So that had to be a good feeling, knowing that right away they're putting me next to a champ to be considered pose for pose with him. What was going on?
Yeah, I already believed it in my heart for months, man. You know, like I always said, like, you have to be a champ before you become a champ. So, like, I had to believe it wholeheartedly that I was going to be the champ this weekend or that weekend. And I did, man. I truly believed it. So at prejudging, when I was standing next to him, I was literally thinking, okay, when is Steve going to say, you know, Flex and Derek switch, which never happened. And then the whole time I was posing up there, us three, me, him, and Kamal, I really believed that I was the man on stage that was, like, outshining the others. Once I had looked at some of the pictures and things like that, then I started subjectively looking at all of us and realizing that I believe I had certain attributes to my physique that were substantially better than Flex. Like, you know, no disrespect to him, but I think I've grown certain body parts that were better. However, the overall physique and flow of his physique this weekend, I believe, edged me out, along with his muscle maturity. Could you have argued that I could have maybe edged him out on several shots? Yeah, I think I won several shots. But did I do enough to knock out the champ? I don't think I did. Yeah. and I'm man enough to admit that. Now, as far as like any of the other competitors moving down the list, I don't really think it was close, to be honest with you. And that's just me being subjective.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
I mean,
I think it was me and Flex, and that was close, but I don't think the other ones were, to be honest.
yeah. I mean, I'll give you clavicle width over flex, absolutely.
Yeah.
I'll give you back over flex.
Mm-hmm.
This was I've seen Flex compete in almost not every pro show. I haven't been all to the European shows and all that, but I've seen him at every Olympia, and I've seen him probably 20 times. And this is by far the best.
I would have to say so too, and that there makes me feel so great, because like to be able to be the one that like to push a guy at that level, a legendary at the time 6-time champ, as he's retiring his last year, to be able to push him to be his best, that feels so great to me. And I know he'll appreciate that too, after he retires. So I don't know, man. I feel great where I'm at right now and everything. And like I said, I'm proud of him, proud of me, happy for both of us. Next year, I expect nothing less than the title for sure.
Yeah. I mean, the thing with Flex is, Giles and I have talked about many times, this was the Flex that we've always wanted to see, because he would post pictures and videos 3-4 weeks out, and Giles estimates he's probably about 225 in all those cases. Just phenomenal, full, strided, separated, dry. Could have stepped on stage at 225. And I don't know what you were weighing 3-4 weeks out, but if I had to guess, you looked to me like you were about 225, maybe 230. And
that's whenever I messaged James like 5 weeks out or something like that, and I said, hey, 100% for sure next year we're going to the Open. And I hadn't told anybody, just wait. I hadn't told anybody that. That's when I was like 220, 225. Yeah. And he's like, all right, man, let's do it. Because I felt like I was like nails. Like I was coming into shape on point, and I was still over 220. And I thought, man, if I could be 230, 235 next year and just solid, like maybe I could push some of these guys. Again, muscle maturity, who knows? But shape and structure and everything, I feel like I can push these Open guys. And then as I came into the show this year, I realized, like, no, I want to stay 212 for sure, at least this year. You
had me all excited there. I thought I was going to break some.
Listen,
break some big news.
Listen, I'm entertaining the idea of, in the next couple years going Open. But this year, I want that damn 212 title more than anything. You have no idea how much I want that.
You want it. Let's say you win it next year. You're going to give it up after one win?
Yeah. I don't know, man. I'm just going to take it 1 year at a time and see where things play out, Like I said, I would love to go to the Open at some point. I don't want to sit back and not go to the Open. And in the next couple of years, this is the best time to grow since I'm young. And at the same time, I want to have that muscle maturity when I do go to the Open. I think I can hang with these I believe I can be the champ in the 212 with less muscle maturity, but in the Open class, it's going to take that muscle maturity to be the champ, and I'm not ready for that yet, and I know that and I understand it. So I'm going to stay 212, and I expect, like I said, to be the champ in the 212. Maybe 1 year, maybe a few years, who knows? I don't know. But like you said,
I don't think Flex Lewis had any intentions of staying a 212 as long as he did, but once he won 2, 3, 4, I think he was like, oh shit, why would I just not keep winning this and make a legacy and be the greatest 212 Olympia champion ever?
Yeah. Right. And people talk about, I mean, like I said, who knows? Like, I'm just going to take it year by year, day by day. And like we talked about earlier, like you asked me if I want to stay leaner this offseason, and I do. I like being lean. I like looking good and feeling good. I don't like ballooning up, being fat, and just – I don't know, man. I just don't like it. But I'll do it because I want to be a great competitor. This year, I don't feel like I have to push my body so hard. Will I get fluffy? I'm sure at some point I'm going to get fluffy again. Yeah. But, in the 212, I have to keep my weight down. Yeah. In the Open, I'm going to have to push my body to be up in the weight, So there's no room for me to really stay lean if I go Open. So, but right now, there's no talk of me going Open this year at all. Like I'm 212.
condition-wise, at what weight could you have been on stage this year if there was no weight restriction?
I personally think, and James will probably disagree, I personally think I could have been like 220 on stage.
Okay.
Solid. Like, I think if I just didn't have to weigh in and just do what I had to do, 218, 220, like I said, James might think differently. Ben might think differently. But I felt really solid at like that weight.
Because Bonnick is you guys are about the same height, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm 5'6". I think he's like 5'6" or something like that.
So I believe he's around 230.
Really?
I believe so. And he's, third in the Olympia, won the Arnold Classic. He's done pretty damn good. Pretty damn well for himself.
I'm just going to see how things play out, man, because like if people want to see me go to the Open, then yeah, man, like I'm not leaving anything off the table. We just started this bodybuilding career. We're having some fun with it right now.
To refresh people's memories, you've only been competing. What was your first show? 2015 or something?
2015. I did 2 shows back to back.
We're in 2018, people. You just took second in the Olympia.
I think this was my 9th show in 2 Olympias, counting 2 Olympias. 2015,
you were middleweight. Smaller.
I was a small welterweight.
So 165.
I was like 150 something.
150 something, people. So 50 pounds of muscle in 3 years, right?
Yeah.
Let's do that again. 50 more pounds in the next 3 years.
50 more pounds in 3 years.
Get you up there at 260.
I don't think that's going to happen.
Good.
I think if I can be 235 on stage, man, that would be, whew.
I don't think you need much more size than you have now.
I just need density and muscle maturity and putting it all together. Like, there's still room for me to shape my physique a bit better too. So, man, I'm an honest guy. I'll tell you, like, I have flaws. We all have flaws.
Yeah.
But I know what I need to improve on, and I know where I lack and where I am strong, and I will honestly tell you what I think about, like I said, where I place or where I should place, or
Okay, well, let's take a couple before we go. A couple questions from the musculardevelopment.com No Bull forum. If you guys aren't on that, because I just realized recently that these videos are on YouTube, and a lot of the people watching the videos have no idea that there's even a forum. So musculardevelopment.com, No Bull forum. People can go over and argue, debate, yell at each other, whatever. So Derek Johnson wants to know, I would be interested in hearing Derek critique himself on his Olympia conditioning. I think from the back, sharp as nails. I'll say, I'm putting my 2 cents in, then you throw yours, obviously. But from the front, you look a lot tighter when you actually hit the poses. When you're just standing there, I'm thinking, he's off. And then you hit the pose, I'm like, oh shit, I guess he's actually in better shape.
Yeah, I'm not really sure what goes on with that. Because I know what you're talking about. I think what it is that when I came out on Friday, you've seen a not so pumped up and full Derek. Like, I had pumped up way early because they wanted us to line up really, really early. Yeah, and so I pumped up really early, and then I didn't do anything. Like, I just stood there in line, and which was a mistake. And so when I walked out, I wasn't really pumped up or nothing. So I hit my front shots, I'm in my relax, I hit my quarter turns, hit my front shots. Everybody's like, oh, Derek, like, what happened to Derek? Then I turn around, and all of a sudden, everybody goes, oh, wow, like he tightened up, he hardened up, like, what happened? And then I turn back to the front, and I'm harder in the front than I was when I was turned back around. So I just think it had to do with, one, I could have been, like I said, I could have loaded a little bit better like the day prior, but I could have pumped up, a little bit closer to walking on stage, which is what I did for Saturday. And you notice a huge difference on Saturday. So my conditioning was on point. There's no question about that. People want to critique Phil Heath's conditioning. He was razor sharp. My God. Like, you cannot critique the guy's conditioning. Maybe his physique. But the thing is, like I said, you can look at my physique, and me being a little bit flat, it shows on stage that you're less conditioned. So once you fill out, it's, oh, man, and you start hardening up, like, oh, man, he's razor sharp. Yeah. So I have no question my conditioning was on point. It's just, I think there's two things. One, or a couple things. one, like being filled out and pumping up on time, and also I think that having a more youthful look to my muscle and skin, I think appears to be a little softer. Does that make sense? So you look at someone like Jose Raymond, how he has super paper thin skin, which my skin's very, very thin too, but he has like some gnarly, grainy muscle. So if he's a little bit off, he's still gonna have like people are still gonna think he's super conditioned. Same as like Ahmad Ashkenani.
Yeah.
You know, I don't think every time these guys come in like super conditioned, but they always seem to be because they have that gnarly muscle bellies or gnarly muscle. Whereas mine's a little bit more youthful, so I think that gives an appearance to where it's a little soft. If that makes sense.
Yeah. Before the next question, does it kind of bum you out that you're never going to get to stand up there with Jose again? Because I know he's someone you look up to.
Actually, yeah, him and Flex both, like, I really, really look up to those guys a lot more than anyone knows. Like, I tell them all the time, and I don't think they even understand how much that they mean to me, you know. Even just as people, like, they're just such great guys, you know. And I'm very happy that, you know, Jose and Flex both got to, you know, speak after the routine and give extra time for them. It was only right, you know. Yeah, so I hate to see these guys, you know, as soon as I get to their level, they're gone, you know. But, you know, I also respect them too because, you know, they have their own lives.
Right.
So
I mean, Jose's got 20 years on you, so it's.
Yeah, man, that guy's a legend.
It's been doing this a long ass time. Next question comes from Airman. This is another. Let's see. There has been some criticism that you weren't as sharp, didn't have as much pop. There's that word, pop, on the stage as you did in your progress pics leading up to the Olympia. Do you attribute that to coming down too much, maybe a last-minute peak week issue, or you simply disagree with the criticism? And before you answer, I want to say that pictures taken in the gym under certain lighting when you're pumped up, nobody looks like that on stage. Nobody. Those are the best pictures in the world. That's why we put those pictures on the cover of magazines.
Right.
You know, when you're standing right up against somebody with the veins and the full pump under awesome gym lighting, dude, it doesn't get freakier than that. So I'll let you answer now.
Yeah, no, but you're 100% right. I mean, I'm going to follow up with the same thing. It's funny because what comes to mind first is my nasty back picture, the one I'm just standing there.
Yeah.
It was funny because I was just training back that day and didn't think anything of it. And I'm walking over to get my water, to get a sip of water, and Ben says, "Stop." And I was like, "What, man? I'm getting a drink of water. What do you want?" He goes, "Take 2 steps back." I was like, "Okay." He goes, "Just stand there." Okay, what do you want me to do? Just stand there. Snaps a picture. He goes, "Check this out." I go, "Oh my God, that looks nasty." And so, of course, I post it because I'm trying to grow my social media. The more I grow social media, the more people I can impact, which is, like I said, my purpose. I want to impact most lives I possibly can positively. But then at the same time, business-wise, I'm able to do better in my business and stuff like that too and things. So everybody wins when I'm posting and out there, like I said. But yeah, as far as like his question, did I pop as much? On Friday, no, I don't think so. I think there were some things that we could have done much differently at the end that could have brought that pop a little more. But look, man, like it's good that I can honestly say that and recognize it because that's constructive criticism for me moving forward. I'm not going to let that happen again. You know, I'm going to be better next time I come back on stage. So, yeah, I mean, just move forward with it, you know?
Okay, Bestia wants to know, how do you handle the pressure by fans and media that you are the heir apparent to Flex and the future of the division? That is a lot of pressure, or could be a lot of pressure if you look at it that way.
I don't know, man. It's funny because somebody was asking me yesterday here, they were like, you must feel the pressure. How's it feel to be on stage? And I'm like, man, dude, I never feel pressure ever because I know I'm working to my fullest, and I can't fault giving my all. Like giving my best, man, there's nothing more I can do. So why would I lack confidence? You know what I'm saying? Yeah. It's not an ego thing. It's just I know the work I'm putting in, which is everything I possibly have. To be the heir apparent, like, look, man, like the title's not given. It's earned. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like you earn that title
I mean, Ahmad Ashkenani was the heir apparent, right?
Right.
2 years in a row, he was second place.
So I love it because it builds confidence knowing that the potential's there, but potential doesn't mean shit unless you go and act on it and you go do something about it. And you know what? I learned that at an early age through wrestling because someone told me one time that I had potential. And when this person told me I had potential in wrestling, man, my ears perked up and had a big smile on my face. And that's when he said, but potential don't mean shit unless you do something about it. And I was just like, actually, he also said, it means you suck now, but you could be good. And I was like, man, like you just like, you brought me up to here and I went, boom, all the way to the bottom again. So here's the deal, man, is that when there's potential there for me, I go all in for it, man. Like I do everything I possibly can to make that happen. So in that, I'm very, very confident and I feel no pressure. But I can absolutely say that there is no titles given. It is earned. And I want to earn that title. I don't want it given. If I don't deserve it, I don't want it. I want to earn it, and I will earn it.
I mean, you're going to have to earn it. There's Flex is stepping down, but there's a whole crew of hungry guys out there.
Yep.
Kamal coming up, Ricardo. If I leave anyone out, guys, please don't get mad at me.
Yeah, I love those guys. They're amazing.
Dwayne, you're good too. You know, there's a lot of the 212 it's loaded with talent. Especially you got a lot of young guys coming up, and they all want that title like you do. So.
Exactly, man, and I love those guys, man. All of them, they're actually awesome guys and phenomenal bodybuilders. Like I said, it's my expectation for the standard I set for myself. It doesn't mean like I'm better than them as far as like you know, as a person, but I just expect more from myself than what I believe that they expect from theirself. You know, and I just, like I said, I see the potential that's there, and I'm going after it with everything I got. And it just every day builds confidence. And there's days where I get a lot of backlash and negative things, but like I said, I expect it already. It's gonna come with where I'm at in my career. It's inevitable. So if I don't accept it and move forward, then I don't think I deserve to be the ambassador of the sport. You know.
Last question for you. So obviously you're qualified for the 2019 Mr. Olympia. 2019 already. So you don't have to do any more shows until then if you didn't want to. And realistically, I think if you wanted to make the most amount of improvements possible, you would hold off and not prep again until 16, 20 weeks out from that Olympia. But there are shows like the Arnold Classic looming. Would you consider doing any other shows next year, or you want to really make sure you set yourself up in the best position possible to win the Olympia title in the 212 next year?
Well, for one, that's what I did last year, and I made significant improvements. So, and also, I'm the runner-up, so I'm kind of the front runner for the Olympia. You know, but if I'm not mistaken, they took the 212 out of the Arnold.
Oh, you're right. You're right.
So that really would be the only other show like that's real significant. You know, I guess there's a New York Pro. Yeah. But I don't really see a reason why I should put myself through a prep for a show to where it doesn't really benefit anyone. The thing is if people want to see me compete, that's nice, but I don't think they really want to see me compete as much as they want me to be out and active. Yeah. And I can do that by guest posing and being at all these events. And that's what I plan to do. And I don't have to be suffering on a diet. I can just, like I said, make improvements and go right into the Olympia and, just do that,
Sound plan, kid. You're getting old. You're 25 now?
Yeah, I'm starting to get gray hairs.
Are you really?
Like hairs, I'm getting more.
Steve Martin was completely gray by your age. Did you know that?
Really?
Yeah, it's a true story. Cool. Well, Derek, thank you so much for updating us, for talking about the Olympia. Yeah. Good to hear all that. I mean, I know things couldn't have gone 100% the way you wanted, but geez, all things considered, you still took second place in the world.
I am extremely happy, and I don't know if I said this on here, but I've been saying it time and time again. I love my life. I am so thankful for my family, so thankful for my friends, everyone who supports me, love my career, thankful for the IFBB Pro League and NPC and everyone that's giving me this platform. Like the thing is I might grind hard for a couple months, you know, to get ready for the show, but the rest of my life is just, I love it, man. Like I couldn't ask for anything better, and I'm just so blessed and so thankful, and I say it graciously and not to boast. But yeah, Ron, thank you for having me. Anything I can ever do for you or MD, just please reach out. I'm phone call away, you know that.
Follow this guy, Derek Lunsford, at Mr. USA 2017 on Instagram. Do you have a YouTube channel yet?
Nah, I don't really mess with that, man.
Okay, that's fine. They can catch you on Ronline Reports. That's cool.
There you go. That works.
Thanks for joining us, everybody. Thanks for watching. Keep track of this guy. He is going nowhere but up.
Thank you.
Derek Lunsford. For the Ronline Report, it's been Ron Harris with Derek Lunsford. Talk to you later.